There's always a reason why like smoke plays work and why kills are happening on the map. And sometimes it's hard to like understand, but luckily that's what I'm here for, to help you guys understand and how to be better players and how to play like OG. I'm going to be breaking down pretty much the key moments of all of OG's games, of how they got to the grand finals and the teams they played against. And the first team that they played against was TSM. They ended up losing 0-2 against the American squad, which they eventually met in the grand finals. All right, so this is one of the coolest plays at the major, honestly, for me. Like, this is a super cool play. Moonmander sets up here with his Mirana. CK has travels too. They have Fiend's Gate on top of it as well. Bryle's dead during all this, mind you, right? So this is not really an expected play by any means. And so they relocate in, but Fiend Gates happens at the same exact time. And basically the IO just dies with the Razor immediately. A very unexpected play. What good play. And it kind of like debates them into this like team fight that they don't particularly really want to take. Really good by TSM in this game to really just find these openings, being very creative with their bots too, the Fiend's Gate, Moon being on the right place of the map with his boots of travel, and taking a 4 versus 5 fight. But knowing that they could get the numbers there immediately, like just because you have 4 heroes and they have 5 alive, doesn't mean you're going to get outnumbered, because not all the time 5 heroes are together on the map, right? So if you can have 4 heroes immediately on the map, kill 1 hero, now all of a sudden it's 4 versus 4. And then if they come in 1 by 1 by 1, you can keep killing them 1 by 1 by 1, and it'll be like 4 versus 4, then 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2, and that's exactly what ended up happening there. Alright, that was good from OG actually. So what made this fight good for them? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. Vision, 1. Alright. And it's not just vision, it's how quickly your team reacts to your own vision, right? Right now, you can place all the vision you want, right? But if your team just like doesn't like do anything about it, it's not gonna matter. Even though OG is down 7k gold, the Aegis is on Fnatic's hands, they choose to fight around their vision here and still play the game. Because if they continuously dodge and respect Fnatic over and over, just because they have an Aegis, just because they're ahead in gold, and you just let them D-ward, you know, you can't fight anyway. At some point, they're just gonna continuously grow their lead, and they're just gonna win the game, and you're never gonna come back. You have to find opportunities in the game to just man up and play the game, right? And this is exactly what they did here. They just manned up. They got the initiation here, right? Could have been a lot better for them in that regard. Seb died, he gave his life for this fight, but that's fine. Amar has the Wraith Pact on the ground, chilling, kites it out. Armel is a bit out of position, they jump him, he's dead, right? Now, BZM locks down the Ember Spirit. They get another kill. Unlikely that they go any further than this, but perhaps they do, actually. They do have Black Hole. We'll just have to see if Fnatic is going to try and buy back from the mid, and they're just going to get BZM out of it. Maybe they can get Uragi. If they get Uragi, that'll help them a lot, but for the most part here, that's just a classic case of OG just manning up. They were losing this game, and they chose to take a fight into an Aegis, and having like balls of steel there just gave them a big, considerable like turnaround point here. There's no buyback on Armel now either. Basically, just don't be a little bitch if you're losing the game. So 10-minute runes. Omar is level 6 and angry. BZM realizes there's a fight breaking out on the top lane, makes an amazing rotation. He even went before the rune came out, but well worth it if they can get this kill here on this overly farmed Monkey King, giving Omar a bit more of a game by getting that kill. Well worth it to miss the rune if you want to like get a kill. by the way. Like, if there is nothing happen on the map, getting runes is definitely really good. But if you can get a kill in the enemy carry, pretty good. Maybe killing a support if he's like level 3 or something might not be worth it. But in this case, those runes are supposed to help you get kills in the future, right? But if you don't even need the rune to get the kill, you can always just go for that opportunity. So you can see here that OG, I'll help you get into the mind of like what OG are thinking in this situation. Void Spirit's dead. Seb goes bottom. So like they have choices. In most cases, you see this tower. It's really, really, really low. Void Spirit died. You have an Aegis. You have choices that you can make here. One could be, hey everyone, Void Spirit's dead. Go push this tower. But when Void Spirit respawns, you have to know this, right? He can TP here, right? And you're most likely not going to kill this tower before the glyph comes out. It's just not going to happen. Right, they're gonna glyph it, they're gonna defend it, and then Void Spirit's gonna be there. He's gonna TP and he'll be there immediately. Seb has really good game understanding, so he decides Void Spirit is dead, so I'm gonna go bottom lane, and they're probably gonna want to trade tier 2s. And if I can bait a fight down here, as long as I keep this tower alive, right? It's crucial he keeps this tower alive. That way his teammates have something to TP on. When Void Spirit does respawn here and a fight happens, he will not be able to get here. The closest thing he can TP to is here, right? And you'll see this is already purely communicated. Taiga is on his way, right? He's gonna deal with this one mid wave, but instead of running back top, he's on his way too, and everyone is ready for this play, right? So Seb does die here, without a doubt. I think this is just like a brilliant play, a pos 5 bait here, but look what happens in return. They mass TP and they get 2 kills, and Void Spirit has no choice. He cannot come to this fight. So if Monkey King didn't pop his BKB and get out there, you know, we didn't even have to use our BKB on the CK at this point. Full 9 seconds, ready to go. Big win for OG there. OG playing the same position in the map. They realize that this tier 2 is pretty meaningless. So like them having a tier 2 only matters if they can control your outpost, right? Them having this tier 2 does not matter at all if they can't control this outpost. So OG realized that. I'm like, okay, so we don't really like our odds of going for this tier 2 here. So it's better that we just control our side of the map, keep our outpost, don't let them take it over. There's no Roshan, no big deal. And we'll play the map from here. So this fight for them is like really good just because there's just a ward here. Both supports are dead, right? With sentries. Cores don't have any sentries on them. And they're just playing under the vision here. And OG does a really good job at capitalizing on the fact that they do see them here, right? And Seb just immediately goes in, gets the stun. 2 heroes are dead. They get a key hero, force a buyback from Boom. Quickly kill him. Use the Gale Force to try and get out, but, you know, Skim overcommitted on his Snapfire and ends up feeding again. See, that's what you call forcing mistakes right there. And Seb is just playing out of his mind here, but like the big thing yet again, Boom has not dewarded this ward, and they've been walking over it for like the past like 4 minutes now. It's still here. And yeah, Seb is playing great. No doubt. Being aggressive, he has a gem. The important thing to note here is they're hitting Roche. So watch this, right? I can only speculate what the players are thinking, but Seb is like a great leader in a lot of ways, and his map movement has always been very good, and probably his shot calling as well. Look what happens. They see this vision. They're probably calling right now. Seb is probably calling on this Wind Ranger that, hey guys, stop doing Roche. We can kill them here. These idiots are on our wards. And they immediately stop doing Roche, and then they run. Right? Because this Shackle would have equated to nothing if his team would have continued to hit this Roshan, right? So communication is very key in moments like this. And because they kept playing around this ward and Boom did not end up dewarding it, they have swung this game. Really, really, really value ward there. Another reason why you should always try and play around your vision. Doesn't matter what MMR your bracket you're in, if you're playing pro, semi-pro, playing around your vision will win you team fights. And communicating to your team to play around vision is also key. OG's vision. They see all this. They see them all here. So immediately, as we'll keep talking about, and we'll notice in OG games, when they get vision of heroes, they see CK top, they saw Storm mid, look at their vision, and they see 3 heroes bottom. What is their instant reaction gonna be? And this is why Wind Ranger works really good for them too, because they notice people being out of position, and this locks them to continue to be out of position for additional 3 seconds, right? And because they notice that, they immediately bring at least more than 3 heroes, right? In this position, they're bringing 4. And here's the Gale Force. It's gonna stick them in place. And immediately gonna kill the Rubik. and they'll probably try going for more, but they're under the vision of Boom now. They get the Yules off into the coil. And is he dead? Yeah, he will die there, and they will get 3 kills. So very important to like note like how OG are thinking and their thought process of how to take these fights, right? It's always like trying to find any advantage you can to take a fight. It's either, it can be item timing, it's gonna be having more numbers in your opponent. It could be a lot of things in Dota, but those are like usually the 2 big ones. Number advantage, number 1, and then item timings to just like brute force. You'll notice Seb's warding too. He's not like really doing these obvious wards. He's trying to ward in a way where it doesn't get dewarded for 1. And it's also in a position where you can just like get a little bit of intel of what the enemy is doing. That way you can formulate a plan of how to make your next move, pretty much. BZM does a really good job there at killing that vision. Now that you'll see the difference on like how they feel on the Radiant, right? This is how they feel while their vision is alive, right? They got the vessel on them, they're chilling. They feel pretty okay about taking this fight if they want to. But the moment this ward goes down, they just can't feel good anymore. It's very hard. They don't know what's happening anywhere over here, right? So as far as Yopaj knows that he's gonna die if he stays here, so he needs to get out. And they have no angle of like finding an initiation. The small things like that, if you're a core player and you can manage to de-ward as a priority in the team fight, more so than even initiating on people. It can be better if you're a team than just initiating. And the Gale Force coil, what do? It's too strong. Like, this game just looks really hard for Boom because I still think OG just like incredibly outpicked them. Like, it's such a big outpick. But I will highlight again, like, look at the vision, right? Look at how they place their wards. These wards are just designed to get information. They'll still place wards on like high grounds eventually if they want to hold the area, but in these like the mid game and early game, they're really just for information to take better team fights. And they're getting picks. Like Mars got caught by this ward just now, that's how they won that fight. Like all these like tiny little vision aspects they have are giving OG like the upper hand. They never really do more than 3 heroes in their smokes, and they're even having BZM show bottom here. These are like next level baits to give your opponents confidence. Like Amar's gonna show, right? BZM is gonna show. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna make your opponents feel like you're not up to something, right? And this is like the 3-man smoke. It's very successful if and only if you show on the map on other cores. OG went as far as taking this smoke without their puck, right? If their puck would have just ran down mid and followed this timber, there's a high chance that FBZ would be like, yeah, I'm not walking up here. But the moment that puck shows bottom, they're like gambling here, right? The moment he shows bottom, and I'm sure he's doing this very intentionally as well, to make sure that Boom feels confident to walk to their triangle. So he pushes that wave and immediately runs back. He's pretty fast. He's got blink. He's got a haste. And this gives him the opening to make this work, right? This is just like OG's movement. See, Uragi pushes this lane out, goes to top. The moment he does this and gets this extra wave, this whole team needs to realize that they're not going to play bottom anymore. He actually doesn't even want to show, so he's going to let Taiga push this out, which is honestly a really good and a smart play, because if Uragi shows up here and pushes this lane out, he's going to pretty much sell his team out, right? If he's up here pushing this wave, now all of a sudden they're going to see Uragi top with a DD bottled. Okay, this guy isn't here. Now they're going to run and take this area back. So Uragi has to be close to his team and has to frontline with this Aegis at all times. Very smart play for him to not just be super greedy and just take this farm up here. Give it to Taiga. Taiga doesn't even, he's not showing his hero, as you'll see here. Like, he's trying not to show his hero. I mean, if they pay attention to the aura, but you know, his intentions are good. He's trying to make them believe that he could be behind his team at any moment. So Uragi's showing bottom. Amar shows mid. And they surround on it. So this is honestly a good play from OG, especially like in a game like this, right? You're down so much, and you're gonna see again, like, look how OG wards, right? This is how OG wards every game. They're putting these lane wards, right? These are fine. These are defensive wards. They're losing the game, and they're trying to have control points. Some areas in which they can feel safe to not only farm for Uragi here, but just be able to fight around. So when he eventually sees that CK is here, right? He's farming on the top lane. They also see in this bot lane that there's multiple heroes down here. So they make a quick smoke They bring a lot of heroes, and the reason why they bring a lot of heroes here is just because they need to. It's 14-0. Like, Armel is mega fat. They're gonna need to bring the damage here, but they're very quick about this. And even though they do die in return on some heroes here, it's not bad for them, right? They give space for your Augie. They killed the Coddle. Now your Augie is going to be able to do some damage to this tower. Potentially even take it. I don't know if he'll be able to take it, but we'll see how Fnatic responds to this. But he's going to do some decent damage here. And whether or not they're going to, like, translate this into, like, doing even more damage, because if you just do this against Tree, it's kind of useless, right? So if they want to take this, they have to bring more heroes. But I doubt they want to take it. It's like, it's not really a high priority thing at the moment. You'll see what OG is doing right now. That's pretty good for them. By all means, Fnatic is in control of this game. And if they do lose it, it's probably based off of the game going really late and Enigma, you know, with their refresh orb, getting some black holes off. But they're not all sitting in their base. So when you're losing a game, you don't need to all be AFK in your base. It's like the worst thing you can do. Right, Seb is pushing out this lane. They're pushing mid lane. They're just making sure the net worth does not increase from Fnatic. And in fact, if Fnatic want to sit there and they don't go high ground, they will lose net worth. So OG's positioning is pretty important for the state of the game. Check out the vision situation. Fnatic's vision, Fnatic's vision. Fnatic has all the vision in the world here. Seb smokes. So this is a little bit of a problem, right? I think Seb is a little too far up. Like, his team needs to be a bit closer. So if he's going to use his body to, like, start the fight, which I think is a perfectly valid strategy. Because, like, in a game where if you feel like you get jumped, right? Some hoodwink just, like, stuns you, E-Blade combos you, and you just die. You get broke. Even Tide could die to this. You'd rather just feed your +5 away to just get vision. So if this is his goal to do this, I think OG could have definitely just chilled a little bit and waited for his team to be a little bit closer. But your Augie just goes in, even into Aegis. Just remember, to win a game that you're behind, you do have to make moves on the map. You can't just sit in your base and, you know, roll over for your opponent. You gotta man up. So I do like the fact that they are doing this. And they end up killing the Ember, who bought back in this other fight for basically no reason. Now that win condition is available for OG. He's gonna die once here. Taiga is playing extremely patient, but so is the Treant. And Tree will cancel it, but he's got another one. But so does the Treant. Oh my god, what a play. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, he played that super well on Januel. Actually, he played it so well. But the fact that he was just sitting there in the Midnight Pulse was enough to kill him. Because they gave him the shard. So, like, I feel bad for Januel here. Like, this is like a god tier play. Like, boom, canceled. Got another one? And I got another one too. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because CK's just chilling in the Midnight Pulse. Ember's dead. Is what it is. Tipping Taiga for what seemed to be a really good double black hole. But in reality, it was basically the equivalent of just stunning him with a Midnight Pulse. So OG is like giving us a tutorial, pretty much. Like, this is like really beautiful Dota. And there's like a reason why this team like won. Let me count how many games in a row real quick. 6 series in a row they won. Dropping only 1 game in the loser bracket to Fnatic. And their fundamentals are just good, right? They place this vision here, and they have killer instinct, right? They're not jerking off hitting this tower. They realize this is the objective. We can argue another day if Jabs should have been here or not, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The Taiga's in the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. And that's all that truly matters. The big thing I've noticed from OG now, and like how they've been improving as a team compared to their loss against TSM, is definitely the hero picks they're making a lot more sense. Like, last time they picked this Razor, they picked an Invoker mid, Exort Invoker mid. So they've kind of like identified their flaws on like their drafting, and their drafting has looked much better. They're also drafting good team fight. Like, they ended up picking this Phoenix, right? Which is really, really good team fight, right? Along with the DK, the lane is pretty solid, and they're having well-balanced drafts now, right? They have their gank, they have their laning, they have their team fight. They got pretty much everything they need. So OG's playing a type of game here. It's kind of like a game of chicken, you know? They don't want to give this tower away, right? but they will, depending on what Thunder does. They're basically saying, like, how badly do you guys want this tower, Thunder? If you're gonna bring 3, nah, we're not gonna give it to you. You're gonna bring 4, we still might not give it to you. We're ready, but oh, you're gonna bring 5 heroes. All right, you can have it. And at what point, if you bring 5 heroes for this one tower, they will assess that they're gonna be getting more out of the map by you being 5 here, by just farming, than it would be worth to try and defend it. And as you can see, they're farming everything, right? 4K net worth advantage, 5K net worth advantage. This is all based off of just the fact that Thunder have brought 5 heroes. They've stopped farming entirely. Nobody is farming anymore on Thunder. They're all focused on this objective that really, at the end of the day, does not matter that much. What matters at this point in the game is net worth, because later on OG will come back to defend this land. We've seen it in a lot of their previous games. They'll come back and defend here, right? They've even left a ward for later. It's out of vision here. Going back to Seb's warding. He doesn't normally ward in spots like this. He doesn't do the normal wards. He's gonna place it so it's difficult to de-ward. And he'll place the more obvious wards for pretty much late game team fights only, or holding high grounds.